Happy Sunday, everyone. Just gonna wait a minute for someone to pop on. And there's that crazy little message again. I don't know where these messages come from when they pop on. There we go. Hello, Bonnie. Just trying to get things in picture here. Whew. I didn't know you were from Wisconsin, Bonnie. Well, welcome. I always like knowing where everyone's watching me from. So, and thank you for sharing as well. I'll just go ahead and get started because I have a feeling this particular demonstration is going to be a little long, maybe, I don't know. Hi, Landa. But I'm doing a couple of things at the same time, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started, and then anybody that comes on can just go back and either watch the first couple of minutes or just pick up wherever they join us. But thank you. Hi, Landa. But thank you for joining me this afternoon. I am actually going to... I had my little heater on because it's chilly in here, even though the air's not on. Nothing's on right now. But I get cold easily. But I have a feeling once I get moving, I'm going to start warming up and I'm going to end up turning my fan on. So, cold and windy. Yesterday it was cold and rainy here in Texas. And so last night it was raining all day long. Let's just put it that way. It was raining all day long. It was the perfect day to stay inside, do some crafting. I even attended Stampin' Up! Bingo last night. Landa was on the bingo as well. And so, yeah, it was just a perfect evening to get together with some ladies and play some Stampin' Up! Bingo and have a chance at winning some prizes and make some cute make and takes. Bingo is so fun. If you've never attended a Stampin' Up! Bingo, I'm not doing one until at least February when the new catalog comes out. The new mini is like in season along with Celebration, but if you've never had an opportunity to attend a Stampin' Up! Bingo, I highly recommend it. It's fun. It's fun, especially if it's bad weather out there and you need something to do on the inside. So but thank you guys for joining me this afternoon. For those of you that might be watching my videos the first time, my name is Barbara Ragsdale and I am a demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And I live in the San Antonio, Texas area. And I am Facebook Live every Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. So I love spending my Sunday afternoons with you guys, and I hope you enjoy the projects that I bring to you and show you. I demonstrate the Stampin' Up! Products. This is what I do, and I also love to share with you all of the ideas of things that you can do with it. We don't just make cards. We can make home decor projects, little personal projects, just basic decor, you name it, we can do it. And I think even like a month and a half ago, I saw some things on Kirkland's and I was like, I could do that. Hi, Evelyn. I know, I've been reading about that. And then I attended somebody else's bingo about 2 weeks ago, and she was in California, and it was like a country Christmas bingo. It was kind of different because she only played 3 games, but it was still fun. It was a really big group of ladies. So, but back to Stampin' Up! We are a paper crafting company, and we cater to all levels of crafters. So whatever your crafting needs are, we are sure to have something in order to help you achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. And our main focus is color coordination, which is not what you're going to find in a lot of the big box stores. So if you struggle with trying to figure out what colors go with what colors and so forth, you're not going to have a problem with Stampin' Up! And once I point the camera down and you start seeing some of the products, you'll see how all of these colors just kind of come together. So But I do thank you guys for joining me, and I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll just talk whatever I remember to say when I'm demonstrating. I will just say it then. So, but let me go ahead and get the camera pointed down. Let me go ahead and get the little spin the wheel thing going. So let's turn this around. Let me stand up and get you showing that. And I think I'm gonna turn my little fan on. I'm already getting warm. There we go. I know that's not gonna be too loud. Let me put this up just a little bit more and face it this way. There we go. Y'all don't know, but I am only 5'2", and so I am short. So when it comes to taking this camera up, I'm like, I'm gonna say I'm on my tippy toes, but I'm having to stretch my little legs here to make sure that I can get into the microphone part of this. I think I should just buy me a little separate microphone so I don't have to worry about the voice cutting out. But here you go. Here is the wheel from last week. I know that it was a pre-recorded video, but I was at a craft fair, and we're going to do the drawing from last week. And for those of you that might be watching the first time, you're probably like, what is she doing? What drawing is that? Well, every single week when you like and make a comment on any of my videos, you get entered into a drawing for the projects that I make. And if you share the video, your name actually goes into the drawing twice. And so that just increases your chances of winning, but it also helps me. You help spread the word and spread the Stampin' Up! Love on a Sunday afternoon. And of course, I'm Central Standard Time, so I know some of you guys, you know, or maybe an hour ahead, or maybe an hour behind, or a couple of hours, whatever it is. But this is what the drawing is. And I'm going to get a different light, because I struggle with that ring there. That drives me nuts. So I'm going to turn it sideways like this, and let's go ahead and spin this wheel, and let's see who won, and then I'll show you what I did last week. Hey, Jessica. We're going to see who wins. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Oh, it's Corrine. I'm not sure. I can't see my comments because I'm so short right now. I'm serious. I'm like, I can't even see the comments. But Corrine, if you're watching, I know Corrine watches, and sometimes she watches the replay. You won, and let's remind everybody what I did on my pre-recorded Facebook Live video last week. Is we did the bag out of designer series paper, two 12 by 12 pieces of designer series paper, and some ribbon and a little bit of cardstock for these things right here. But Corrine, you won the bag, and I got to figure out how to ship this because it doesn't fold. So, but that's what I got to figure out. But congratulations, Corrine. Now anybody can win. So anybody that likes, comments, and shares. And then I still have the November host code up here, as well as the QR code, because we still have a couple of days left in November. And if you order with me online on my website, and you use this host code, you're going to get a free kit to make these 4 cards using the Gilded Autumn Suite. And then here you go. It's these. So everything's already cut for you, die cut for you. The only parts that aren't done are the stamping, and this would be hard to die cut for you because that requires stamping, but you do need the stamps, and it would help to have the punches. So, but it's a bundle. It's a bundle, and it's also available as a suite as well. So we just have a couple of days left for that particular online special. And I will tell you that today what we're going to be doing is the December, because it's so close to December. I wanted to go ahead and do the December monthly online ordering special and get that out a little early. But before I do that, let me just remind you that the paper pumpkin deadline to sign up for the December kit is the 10th. So we have about 12 days, and the theme is very comforting, and it's a kit that contains enough supplies to create 12 comforting cards and coordinating envelopes. So that ought to be cute. So anyway, if you're interested in getting a paper pumpkin kit for next month, you've got a few more days left for that deadline. And then I have my April retreat. It's been on the schedule for a little while, and I just wanted to let you know, if you're looking to get away in the Texas Hill Country and you want to join us, there are actually several options on the live version, but there's a live version. You can take it to go, and then this time I added a room and board option only for people that just want to get away from their families. Anybody that just want to get away for the weekend and not concerned about the Stampin' Up! Bells and whistles. So if you go to my website, and actually if you're on the video now and you want to scan the QR code, I believe that will take you to my website and give you all of this information here. But it's April 9th through April 11th of 2021, and it's at the Mountain Laurel retreat in New Braunfels, which is gorgeous. I just had a weekend retreat there in October, and it was fabulous. So I can't wait to be able to go back out there again. I didn't want to leave. That's how good it was. But yeah, so just go to my website and go look at the April date, and then you can see all the details about this. But let's go ahead. Let's see. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. And I can't see my comments, so if I miss anybody's comments, I'll go back and respond, and hopefully I'll be able to see it. Let me see if I can drag this a little bit closer to me and still be up. Oh well. But anyway, well, for the month of December, I decided to backtrack a little bit and use the Dove of Hope bundle. And right now it is in the let me get my catalog. Had to get my catalog. So if you have a copy of the August to December mini catalog, it is on page 13 of your catalog, and it's available. The stamp set is available by itself, of course, and then there's also coordinating dies. So the both pieces for the bundle is $49.50. You actually get 10% off when you buy it as a bundle. But I want to show you this while I have the catalog here. But do you see this card right here? I made it a couple of months ago, well, back when the catalog first came out, but I made this just to show people that you can make things out of the catalog, and that's one of the cards that I'm going to be doing for you. But that is going to be the December online ordering special that coordinates with the monthly card class, that coordinates with the free card class. They're just all different cards. But we are going to be using the Dove of Hope bundle. So let me set that aside, and let me show you the first card that we're going to make. And I have my embossing machine off to the side because I have two pieces of paper that I have to emboss, but I have to stamp first. So let's go ahead and get started with this cute card. And I don't know if you can see that, but I did emboss that paper. And so, but we're going to stamp it first. So what we have is we have a Whisper White card base, and then we're only dealing with two colors here. We're dealing with Whisper White, and we're dealing with Pretty Peacock. So let me get this Pretty Peacock piece and attach this to the card base. Get that piece out of the way, but it's just a regular piece of card stock that's been in half. It's cut in half, and then it's folded in half as well. And this is a landscape card, so we're going to attach this piece this way. And just so y'all know, on these videos, when I post these on the tutorials, I actually use this video in there. So anybody that gets the kit, I share the video with them as well. So this is why I might be doing some steps that I normally don't do that are included in the instructions. But we're going to use Pretty Peacock ink here, and we're going to stamp. Actually, let me stamp the bottom right hand side here. And this says, and hope in your heart. So the sentiment's going to say peace on earth, and then at the bottom it's going to say, and hope in your heart. So I'm going to stamp it off to the side, bottom lower right, and then I guess I can go ahead and stamp the top left. It doesn't matter on this one because there's no embossing where that's at. So let me stamp. And hopefully I will get this straight. Yay! Well, that's straight. And I've already gone ahead and stamped and die cut the dove. I'm not sure why I put my dimensionals away because I need them. So let's get some dimensionals there. And then let me run this piece of paper through the embossing machine off to the side. And it's the Winter Woods embossing. And because I'm doing this landscape, I have to pay attention to how I put the paper in. Because I want the trees to be going long ways, so I have to make sure I put the paper in this way. I know most of them you can put in that way, but it doesn't make sense to have the trees going in sideways like that. So let me get that in there and line that up with that line, just so that my trees are straight and I'm not embossing on this peace on earth part. And let me emboss it real quick. By the way, you guys, in a couple of days, demonstrators are going to finally be able to order that mini embossing machine. Oh my gosh, we've been waiting for that. So here we go. So there's our piece of Whisper White that's been embossed. And there is nothing fancy. Oops. Ooh, gosh, if you're not careful, your paper will rip. Let's see if I can go slow. Let me go slow. My paper wants to rip. It didn't do that the first time I did that. Let's see. Let's see. There we go. Not sure why it wanted to do that. And then we're just going to center this in the middle. And then add a dimensional. We're going to add two of them. We're going to put one over here and then another one on the other side, so that this dove is pretty stable on this card. And then we're just going to put him over here where it looks like he's flying above the tree lines. So there you go. That is card number 1. So let me set that aside. And then here is card number 2, which if you recognize this designer series paper, I had lots of the Halloween paper left over. That's actually one of the sides to the Hallows Magic designer series paper that was in the suite, because I thought that Pretty Peacock really looked pretty with that design. So on this one we are going to be doing our stamping, and we're going to get our Pretty Peacock back out. But on this one we're also going to be doing a masking technique. So off to the side here I have my little stamped image of the twig branch, and then I've cut out where the stem was on that branch, because we're going to be using that. So the first thing we're going to do is stamp our image of the branch and twigs. And let me see if I can get, there we go. And then let me stamp Peace, Joy, and Love. And you want to leave enough room between the twig and the sentiment down here so that you have room for your ribbon. So there we have that one. And then now we're going to be doing this masking technique. So all I did was I stamped another of the twig images with the leaves on a piece of really thin like Post-it note, and I cut out around the edge because I want to cover that up. I want to stamp that dove over that so it looks like the dove is landing on that branch. And the only way to do that without those two images overlapping each other is to cover up the branch area. So let me stamp up the dove I'm going to use. Make sure I got some good coverage there. And then I got my, trying to get my steady hand down here. There we go. Just trying to line it up. These are not photopolymer, so it makes it a little bit difficult, but you'll be stamping on this little piece of paper. And then you pull this piece of paper off, and then you have that image where it looks like the dove is sitting on there, but you don't have the, I don't guess it would have mattered for this one, but for most images, you don't want the images to overlap because it is a little hot mess right there where they did. But this one's a nice, clean, it's nice and cleaner. So we have our pretty peacock base, and I am going to put a piece of Whisper White on the inside. Well, with the kit, the Whisper White will come with it, but I'm not going to do it for the demo. But let's put this together now that we have our Stampin' out of the way. We're going to put this piece of Designer Series paper, and see, that was the back of the Halloween paper. But the side I'm using is the pretty peacock side. And let's get, I don't guess it really matters the way that design is going, but we're going to put that piece down, and then we're going to put this piece and mat it on top of this piece of copper. And on this piece of copper I used, I don't know where it went, but it was another set of dies. Oh, it was the Nature's Thought dies I used. I didn't, normally I use like the rectangular stitch dies, but I wanted to use a different die this time. So I used that, and you can tell that design that's around the edge of that piece of paper. And then we're going to mat this piece right in the center. You know what? I skipped a step. Of course I skipped a step. But that's okay. I think I'll just make it around the outside. I don't know if you noticed, but on my card here, I wrapped that ribbon around. But I'm not going to try to take that apart because that'll just tear it apart. But the ribbon that I'm using is, I'll just go ahead and put it around the edge of all of this. Oh, why am I, there we go. It's a new, this is a new adhesive, but for some reason it's not advancing like I need it to. So I'm just going to take a piece of ribbon, just the length of the paper, and then we're going to wrap this around right here. Just pull it tight through between those images, and then make sure that that adhesive gets on there. And I think I used dimensionals on my sample. Oh well. But I do want it to still pop up, so I'm not really sure why I put adhesive on the back of that. So far this tutorial is like, oh my gosh. I guess you could do both. You could do both, whatever you wanted to do. If you wanted it to lay more flat, then you could put adhesive, but if you want it to pop up, then we'll just throw it on some dimensionals, and then get that in the center. Nothing's going to happen to that glue in the back anyway. There we go. And then take another small piece of ribbon. And doesn't matter, just needs to be at least the width of that because you're going to be pulling this through. And then we're just going to tie a little knot and then pull it. Nothing fancy, we're not doing a bow. And then once you're done, just trim the edges however you like them to be trimmed. There we go. Okay, and then we're not done because I decided to go ahead and put some champagne rhinestones where the little berries are. I thought this little bit of bling looked really cute and helped coordinate with that piece of copper. And I've got lots of rhinestones here, so I'm going to be generous with getting them right on top of those berries there. And there you have it. Now on the kit, remember, I'm going to put a piece of Whisper White on the inside, but there is card number 2. Cute. I love that dove. I wanted to find something that could be used for the new year as well. I mean, there are a couple of Christmas. There's an ornament on there, and then the inside sentiment has a Christmas message, and there's a snowflake. But there were other pieces of that bundle I could use that it could still be used as a card if you wanted to send somebody a card into the new year and still be able to wish them some peace on earth, or peace, joy, and love. Now here is card number 3. It's another nice simple card that's got some embossing on this piece of Whisper White. So let me leave that there. And I actually went ahead and on this one, I went ahead and did the embossing because I'm pretty confident, because it's not a real heavy embossing. This is the subtle embossing folder, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's embossed, but it's a real subtle emboss, which I think this is why they call it a subtle embossing folder. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp on it. And we're going to stamp Peace on Earth, but we're going to stamp Peace on Earth in Memento Black. So let me get my Peace on Earth here and clean that. And then we're going to stamp in the lower right hand corner with some Memento ink. And I chose to do Memento ink because I did the doves in Memento ink and the leaves and the branches there. So all you have to do is make sure that you press down firm enough, and then you will get a really good image, even though it is slightly embossed. If you didn't give it enough pressure, you don't want to give it so much pressure and rock it, because if you had any ink around the edge, it would transfer to that. But the subtle embossing folder is really, it gives just enough texture, so, but you're still able to stamp on it instead of stamping and then embossing. So let me close that up. And then we're going to go ahead and put this card together. Let's get some seal on the back of this. I'm actually using Seal Plus. Seal Plus seems to work a little bit better for me. So let's get that on there. It's just a white, this is Whisper White cardstock on Whisper White cardstock. And then what we're going to do is, let me get my silicone mat, because I'm going to need that over here. But I have stamped and die cut 4 of the leaf images, And what we're going to do is we're going to put some adhesive on this bottom one. Okay, we're going to try to create like a little nest of some leaves, but we're going to put 2 of them on the bottom directly on the cardstock. Get some, okay. And then this one, we're going to use a dimensional. We're going to use a large one there, and then let me get a smaller one too. We'll use a smaller one on closer to this edge right here. And then we're going to put this slightly above the one that's there, just so it has some dimension to it. And then while I have this here, this image here, I'm just going to show you how to do this. I'm using the blends, and I'm using Dark Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to use the paintbrush side to just color in. I think this is darker than what I used on there. Uh-oh. I think I used the light one when I did my card. I'm like, that looks kind of light. Oh, wow. Y'all get what I'm doing here. Okay, and then for the little berries, we're going to use the little brush tip with the dark real red and just color those in. Okay. And then let's get a dimensional on this one as well. And then pop those up. My nails still feel naked because my nail polish is going to be delivered in a couple of days. Okay, so there we go. And then I have, I probably should have colored this little guy too. Let's color him. I forgot I had this one to do. He's got a little branch, little sprig branch coming out of his mouth. So we want to get that colored too. And one berry. Okay. So let's get a dimensional. We're just going to put one on the back of this one and have him look like he's sitting in the branches. And this one over here, let's put one over here. And I ran out of dimensionals, so, well, no, there's one right there, but I will show you. You can always just cut around the edges as well and use these pieces as well. The whole sheet is like a giant dimensional, so use them up. Use all your scraps. And then the piece that's left, this little piece that has a waxy substance on it, you can always reuse that. You can use that in place of your silicone craft mat when it comes to putting adhesive over small pieces, because the adhesive's not going to stick to that waxy part of the paper. That's just a little extra tip there. Help use your supplies a little differently. And then this one we're going to put where he is just kind of flying up at the top left-hand corner. So there you have it. There is card number 3. Hi, Denise. I haven't been looking at my comments, so if you've joined me, thank you for joining me. So that's card number 3. And then the last one, that's just a few extra steps, is the one that was in the catalog. And this one, when I designed it opening from left to right. But this is the same one that's in the catalog, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And we have our pretty peacock base here, and let me get this moved off to the side. I have all my pieces already cut, so I'm really just assembling. And then what I'm using, I don't know if you noticed, but that edge is distressed. But we're gonna get our Pretty Peacock Stampin' Blend. And then I have a sponge dauber that already has the Pretty Peacock on it. And then we're just gonna daub that and then start distressing our edge there. Sorry for all the noise. And then once I get around the edge, I'll go back around and get it a little bit more. But we are just giving this like a shadow around the edge. And our sponge daubers, you could also use sponges. We do have sponges, but I think I had used the sponge dauber obviously originally when I did my sample. But you just kind of put it on the edge and you just kind of flick it off, but try to get some on the card. And then I'll go back and then just kind of fill in wherever I think more shadow needs to go. You could also use our sponge brayers. We have several items that you can use. We have the sponges, we have the sponge brayers, whatever you're comfortable with. But I don't know about you, but my finger fits perfect in that sponge dauber. So it's just easier for me because of my hand grip strength to use a dauber sometimes on the edge of my finger. And I think that'll work. No two cards are ever going to be the same when they're handmade. So that's the beauty of it being handmade. And we are done with, yes, we are done with our Pretty Peacock. And what we can do is we can actually go ahead and put this on our card because we're not using any ribbon to wrap it around or anything like that. So let's get some seal on the back of this piece, and that way there's one less piece floating around here that I could potentially lose. So let's get that centered. You know what? I'm a goober because that's up with dimensionals. I should probably read my tutorial. But I am talking at the same time, and sometimes it's difficult to like, what did I do? Oops. We're putting that up with dimensionals, you guys, because we want that to come up off the page. So let's get some dimensionals on the corner there. And I'm probably pretty sure in my tutorial I probably have it to use black dimensionals because it's not as easily seen from the side view. So I think let me get that on there. So let's get this on here. We're gonna put that in the center. Okay, and then we're gonna do all the snowflakes and everything last, but let's put our dove together because he's actually pretty easy to put together. But you do need your little silicone mat because we're going to be putting these pieces together. So I want to put some adhesive on the back of this. You could also use our adhesive sheets. I did not do that for this, but you could. And I'm just randomly putting some adhesive on. And then we're going to mat this piece on top of the other die cut. So now you have one part of his wing there, and then to get the other wing going in the opposite direction, the only way to do that is to flip your dies around. So we're going to flip the die around and the wing. Even though you can tell what side is the finished side, that's the only way you can get that opposite effect. So let's get some adhesive on him. You could also use fine tip glue too if you like to use your fine tip glue on there. The only drawback of using your snail is that you see some of the adhesive through the wing, I guess you could say, but you could eventually rub that off. So there's the other wing. And then we're going to put the dove body on next, but I also have this other little piece that goes behind on his tail. So let's get some, oops, didn't expect that to do that. I just put just a little bit on there because I think the tail wants to rip. Hold on, guys. Okay, now let's get this guy on. We're gonna put him on top of the other wing. We're gonna put the dimensional right here on the inside. That way you can put the body, let's see, you want to get the body, there we go, kind of at that angle. And then we're going to put a dimensional on this one, just on that edge, so that we can put this other wing right here. We'll just put it right there. So then now we have our dove put together, and then when we go to put him on the card, we can position him however we want to position him, but we also have to make sure to leave room for the little greeting down here. So we've got plenty of space to put him. And let me make sure, what did I do with him? I used dimensionals. So let's get some more cut on here. And that way he can pop up off that paper. I'm gonna put one in the right there. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Sunday afternoon wherever you are. So let's get him, let's put him right there. And then this little sprig right here, we are going to attach with a glue dot right behind his little beak there, his nose. Whatever you call it on a dove. I don't know what you call it on a dove. And see, this is probably why, let's see. I think it's too long. I think I put him too high on here. I think that's why we have to, let me see if I can pull this up without ripping him. Bear with me. Yeah, we can move him down a little bit. We gotta leave a little bit of room to put that little sprig there, so it's got plenty of space on the card, and it's not hanging off of the card. So there you go. If you wanted to, you could put a glue dot right behind here and help it hold down, or you could just leave it popped up like that. I'm not even sure what I did on. Oh, I used a little black dimensional. I'll go back and put that on there. So let's do the greeting. And with the greeting, we're going to be using the Peace, Joy, and Love again. But we're going to be embossing that with the white embossing powder. So in order to do that, you have to have Versamark. And then we don't, let me do this off camera here. You want to take a like a dryer sheet and rub the piece of paper so that it takes the static off. And with your Versamark, after you clean off your stamp, you're going to have make sure it's clean. I'm sorry, just make sure it's clean. You want to ink up your stamp, and the Versamark is a clear ink. So the only way you're going to be able to see it is once you stamp down on your piece of paper. And you noticed it's got like a wet image to it. And then you can take your white embossing powder and let me do it on here. I should have brought a piece of paper over. But you want to sprinkle some over, unless you have a container that already has some in it permanently, and then you can just dip it in there. But you want to get it on there so that all that powder adheres to the Versamark, and then tap it off. Tap off all that excess, and then don't touch it. Let me set this aside. And then let me close this, because we are done with the Versamark, and we're also done with the embossing powder. And then I have a clothesline pin that I'm going to use to help hold the edge of it. And then with our heat embossing tool, we're going to emboss that, and I'm going to see if I can get it in the light to where you can actually see when the embossing powder starts to change. So bear with me, it might get loud here. You'll see that white embossing powder get a little brighter than what it is once that heats up and turns shiny. See there? And then I'm going to follow it along my piece of paper, and you can see the other parts of it warming up, that embossing powder. There we go. There we go. And then you're left with this little shiny piece of, let's see if I can't see a shine. I don't know if you can, but it's a shine. You could also use the Whisper White craft ink too if you wanted to do that. And then I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back so we can pop that up right here. Okay, and then we're not done. We're almost done, but not quite done. We still have some snowflake sequins that we're going to put on there. And then I also have our Stampin' chalk marker. So between the sequins and the chalk marker, that's what's going to be used to help kind of finish up the front of this card. And where is my... I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to use the end that has the adhesive so that it will help me pick up those sequins. So we're just going to grab a few of these sequins. Let's see. Sorry guys. That helped pick it up, but I'm just going to randomly put some on there. That one fell off. You have to be careful with these sequins though, because they're getting like over everything. They have some static to them, so they stick to everything. Except what they're supposed to. There we go. Get that off there. This thing picks it up real easy, but goodness. There we go. Make sure I just pick up one. And then we're going to do one at the bottom. I have sequins all over my fingers now. We'll put one right there. And let's close this up before I spill that. And with our chalk marker, all we're going to do is just dab little white spots everywhere. All you need is a dab. A dab will do. And that just helps represent some of the snow that might be falling. You want to fill in all your little blank spot areas. And I think that's good. That was probably more than what I did on the sample, but there you go. So there you have it, you guys. Let's move all this out of the way so anybody joining can see that website and that QR code. But there you have it. There's card number 4. Let me get some of this out of the way so I can bring all these cards back. So there's card number 4. Let me put this off to the side here. And then there was card number 3. There was card number 2. And then this was the super simple card number 1. So there you have it, you guys. This is going to be the December monthly online ordering special, and also the class. So if you want to come to class and be able to do everything that I just did for yourself so that you can learn these techniques, you can look on my event schedule and see when the monthly card class is. I will tell you that the monthly free card class, so basically with these cards right here, if you order $25 or more on my website in the month of December, you're going to get the cut kit in order to make these. You just have to be able to stamp. So you need to make sure you have the inks or the stamps if you want to be able to recreate, but you'll get all the paper cut. You'll get anything that needs to be embossed will be embossed. Anything that needs to be die cut will be die cut. So for instance, like this dove will be die cut for you in the sprig. It's kind of hard to die cut these images that need that, so that's why you need the stamps and the inks in order to complete that. But everything will be cut for you, and you get that absolutely free just by placing an order of at least $25 or more on my website. And this was the stamp set, the Dove of Hope. And then there's also the coordinating dies that do all the die cutting for the dove and the sprigs and whatnot for you. And then let me show you, while I have you on here, let me show you the free card class. The free card class is in line with this bundle as well. And these are the 3 cards that you, well, there's 1 card that you do in the free card class. And it'll be this one. Oops, let me bring that down a little bit. It'll be this one. This is what we call simple stamping. This is just inks, paper, and stamps. That's it. Like, there's nothing, there's no dimensionals, there's no ribbon, there's no rhinestones. And this just shows you that you can still make a really pretty card without having all of that other stuff. Although sometimes it's nice to have all the other things so that you can get that same effect. But if you're on a budget and you still want to be able to create some really cute cards, you can come to the free card class and you can actually make this card right here. And then at the same time, I always do 2 other cards that will show you, that would be a beginner card, something really simple. And then this is going to be kind of an occasional stamper. It's the next step up. which you've got some stamping on here, but then you have some die cutting. So I just added a die cut step to that. And both the sprig, branch, and the dove are die cut. But you also still have your layers. You've got 3 layers. And then this is what maybe an advanced card would look like, where you've got your layers, you've got your stamp on there, but that's been embossed in the gold embossing powder. And then you have some die cuts. And then you have your paper that's embossed. And then you also have some accessories. So I added some red rhinestones to the berries on there. So that would be a card that something a more advanced stamper would do at any given time. But that just shows you 3 different cards for the 3 different levels of stampers. And that's just one example. There's so many examples that you can do with these particular cards, but this is what the free card class for December will be. So let me get this pointed back to me. Make sure there's not a cat sitting in my chair. I never know when I'm gonna sit down in my chair and there's gonna be a cat that I'm gonna be sitting on. So but thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the cards. I know there's always snafus on lives because I'm not looking at the directions. I'm going off memory, and sometimes, you know, our memories are not sometimes what they should be. So, but thank you for the compliments on the card. I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope you guys have a great fabulous rest of your Sunday afternoon. We will see you guys next Sunday at 3 p.m. So you guys have a good rest of your evening. All right. Bye-bye.